Welcome, dear viewers, to Meghan and Harry Tales channel. I am your host, Kelly, and your support means everything to us. Let's dive into a tale that unfolded just this week. We journey back to the charming city of Aberdeen, Scotland, where Prince William found himself once again, a little over a year since his previous visit. Journey with me to June of 2023. The Prince was on a mission, launching his project, Homewards. He painted himself as a beacon of hope for the homeless, embarking on a whirlwind 6-city tour to donate foundation money to homeless shelters and halfway houses. Among the recipients of his selective generosity was a shelter right here in Aberdeen. But what made the headlines wasn't his philanthropic endeavour, it was the lack of public interest. The city didn't seem to care. The police had set up crowd control barriers, but not even a handful of people showed up. The Scottish media didn't hold back, poking fun at the Prince for his lack of charisma and the public's apparent indifference to his visit. Fast forward to this week, and history seems to have repeated itself. Once again, Prince William found himself in Aberdeen, revisiting his Homewards project. Unfortunately, he was met with the same lack of enthusiasm. His staff, it seems, had not learned their lesson from the previous trip, placing him in the same awkward position. You could count the number of attendees on one hand, and that included the journalist who documented the event. Last year, I suggested that the lukewarm reception was due to poor planning by William's staff. That still stands. And it's surprising that they allowed him to face the same embarrassing situation. Back when Prince Harry and Meghan were still in the UK, they were greeted with enthusiastic crowds wherever they went. It's a stark contrast to William's recent visits, which have been met with indifference. It seems the anticipation for William's royal visit was not quite as one might expect. Fast forward to this week, and Prince William finds himself in a familiar situation. The Duke of Cambridge has returned to Aberdeen, the very same city that just over a year ago failed to draw a crowd. His mission? To bring attention to his Homewards project, a noble endeavour aimed at reducing homelessness. But as history has a way of repeating itself, the scene was eerily similar to his previous visit. The city of Aberdeen, known for its vibrant culture and bustling streets, was quiet, almost too quiet. The police had once again set up crowd control barriers, but they stood as empty guardians with no crowd to control. The streets were not filled with eager royal enthusiasts, but with the usual hustle and bustle of everyday life. The people of Aberdeen seemed to be carrying on with their daily routines, oblivious to the royal visit. As Prince William stepped out of his vehicle, he was not greeted with fanfare or applause. There were no cheering crowds, no sea of waving Union Jacks, no adoring faces. Instead, there was an uncomfortable silence, an empty space where a crowd should have been. The Duke's staff, it seems, had failed to drum up excitement for his visit, a repeat performance of the previous year's lacklustre turnout. And where were the people of Aberdeen during all of this? They were there, of course, but they were not lining the streets or clamouring for a glimpse of the Duke. They were going about their business, living their lives, seemingly uninterested in the royal visit. It was a stark contrast to the reception received by other members of the royal family in different cities. Once again, the turnout was less than royal. The lack of crowd was a glaring reminder of the Duke's previous visit, a mirror image of the past. It was a repeat performance, but not the kind anyone would wish for. It seems that Prince William's star power might not be as potent in Aberdeen as he or his staff had hoped. In contrast, let's take a trip down memory lane to when Prince Harry and Meghan lived in the UK. The Sussexes, as they're fondly known, were the embodiment of a modern fairy tale, a prince and his Hollywood bride, and the public couldn't get enough. Wherever Harry and Meghan went, they were greeted with an outpouring of love and enthusiasm. Remember their visit to Nottingham, just days after announcing their engagement? The streets were lined with thousands of well-wishers, all hoping to catch a glimpse of the happy couple. Or their tour of Australia, where they were met with fervent crowds, eager to share in their joy of the impending arrival of their first child. It was clear that the Sussexes had captured the hearts of the people. William and Kate, known as the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, might have anticipated the same kind of reception following the departure of the Sussexes from the UK. After all, they are the future King and Queen consort. It's only natural to assume that the public's affection for the Sussexes could easily be redirected towards them. However, the reality has been starkly different. The Cambridges' visits, whether to Aberdeen or elsewhere, have been met with a lukewarm response at best. The public's enthusiasm, it seems, was not as easily transferred as they might have hoped. The absence of crowds at their events is a stark contrast to the sea of faces that once greeted Harry and Meghan. One can't help but wonder why this is the case. Is it due to a lack of charisma, as some suggest? Or is there a deeper issue at play? Is the public growing disenchanted with the monarchy? Or do they simply prefer the modern approach of the Sussexes? These are questions for another day. For now, it's clear that William and Kate have a long way to go if they want to replicate the popularity of Harry and Meghan. Unfortunately for William and Kate, it seems the public's enthusiasm was not as easily transferred. Following these events, one might wonder about the future of the royal family's public image. The lack of public interest in Prince William's visit to Aberdeen suggests a possible shift in public sentiment towards the monarchy. It's clear that the charisma and appeal of the Sussexes are not easily replicated, and the lack of enthusiasm for the Duke of Cambridge's engagements is a stark reminder of this. It's worth noting that public image is a tricky beast, particularly for an institution like the British monarchy. It's a delicate balance between maintaining tradition and evolving with the times, and it seems that the royal family might be struggling to find its footing in this new era. The lack of crowds in Aberdeen could be a symptom of a larger issue, a waning public interest in the monarchy. However, it's not all doom and gloom. This could serve as a wake-up call for the royal family to reassess their approach to public engagements. Perhaps it's time for them to rethink their strategy and make a more concerted effort to connect with the public on a deeper level. After all, in a world where the Sussexes are redefining what it means to be royal, it's clear that the old ways might not cut it anymore. It's also crucial to point out that the issue might not lie entirely with Prince William himself. His staff, who are in charge of planning and executing these public events, might need to take a long, hard look at their approach. It's their job to ensure that the prince's engagements are well received, and the lack of crowds in Aberdeen, not once but twice, suggests that they might be falling short. In the end, the royal family's public image hangs in the balance. It's up to them to adapt and evolve, to find new ways to engage with the public and win back their interest. They have a long and storied history to draw from, but they also need to look to the future and embrace change. Only time will tell if the royal family can regain the public's interest. As we wrap up today's video, let's ponder on the shift in public interest towards the royal family. It's clear that the charisma and allure that once surrounded the royals have been undergoing a transformation. Prince William's recent visit to Aberdeen serves as a stark reminder of this shift. Once, the sight of a royal, especially one as high in line as Prince William, would attract throngs of people eager for a glimpse, a wave, or a handshake. But the world has changed, and so have the people. The absence of crowds in Aberdeen is a mirror reflecting this change. It's not just about Prince William or the city of Aberdeen, it's about the changing royal narrative and the public's relationship with it. Is this lack of enthusiasm a sign of a broader disinterest in the royal family? Or perhaps it's a reflection of the public's desire for a more authentic, relatable monarchy? The royals, after all, are not just figureheads. They're people with their own strengths, weaknesses, passions and flaws. Maybe the public is yearning to see more of this human side, rather than the polished, unapproachable image of yesteryears. However, it's important to remember that this is only one event, one city, one moment in time. It doesn't define the entire royal family or the public's overall perception of them. But it does raise questions. Questions that we, as observers, enthusiasts or critics, should be asking. So what do you think? What does this tell us about the evolving relationship between the public and the royals? Is it a sign of the times? Or is it something deeper, more profound? We invite you to share your thoughts and join in the conversation. Thank you everyone for watching. Show some love by subscribing and sharing the video. Remember to leave a comment. Your thoughts matter to us. Until next time, I am your loyal host, Kelly.